Hello and welcome to the video tutorial about the SoftPixel Sandbox, a real-time world editor using the SoftPixel engine. In this introduction I want to show you how to make the first steps with the editor. So let's begin. First of all, I want to show you how to move and turn the view camera. Press the right mouse button and move your mouse to turn the camera. To move up, down and right, left, press the mouse wheel. And additional, press the keys WASD, like in a first-person game, to move forwards, backwards, right and left. To increase the movement speed, press the Shift key or change the value in the small spin control inside the toolbar. Since we are ready to move around the scene, it's time to fill it with some objects. Click the second tab in the Attributes window. Here you will find all standard objects, such as primitive 3D models, light sources, cameras, and so forth. To instantiate a new object, double-click the entry or click on the Create Object button. Let's create some cube objects at first, and select them by clicking on it with the left mouse button. Next we will modify the object construction attributes after we created it. This can be very useful to see in real time how the object changes with different settings. Increase the segments attribute to give the model a higher level of detail. A negative value specifies the default value for the respective objects. The standard editor operation, copy and paste, is supported as well. Just select the objects you want to copy, press the Ctrl key and the letter C. Then press the Ctrl key again and this time the letter V. The new objects are automatically selected. Just copy and move them. Next I will show you some very useful features from the toolbar. First thing is Translation Capture Camera, the red fixing pin. Enable it to let the view camera move together with your selected objects. Just moving objects is not enough. To rotate or scale them, click the small buttons right to the arrow cross in the second toolbar. You can also switch between translation, rotation and scaling by pressing the keys 1, 2 and 3. As you can see in the object selector, which is represented by the 3 colorful arrows in the scene, there is a small sphere at its origin when the scaling mode is active. Use it to scale the objects uniformly. This sphere also appears at translation mode when only a single object is selected. In this case, the object will be placed onto the other object where the cursor points to. As you have probably already thought of, the scaling can be problematically in this way. To scale the objects with the so-called positive and negative scaling, click the arrows left to the red fixing pin. You can of course still make a uniform scale. Another way to move and rotate objects is to change the orientation of the object selector. Click the small earth, the white box, the camera and the coordinate system icons right to the transformation buttons in the second toolbar. You can also switch between these modes by pressing the Shift key and the number 1, 2, 3 and 4. When you are transforming several objects together, you can do this in 2 different ways. This is called group transformation and represented by the curly bracket icon. When it's disabled, each object will be rotated and scaled individually. To transform your objects in a raster, or rather a grid, activate this by clicking the small triangle at the grid icon right to the red fixing pin. The degree values are used for rotation and the others are used for translation and scaling. You can also disable object selection or the object selector itself. To do this, click the two small buttons left to the curly bracket icon. That should be enough about transformation. Now let's take a look at the object properties. Click the first tab in the Attributes window. Here you can see all properties, or rather attributes, available by all selected objects. The basics part is available for all objects. In the tree view list on the right side, you can see the object list. Now we want to devote ourselves to the light source which we have just created. So far, the scene was illuminated only by the view camera's light source. To make the actual scene lighting visible, click the light bulb icon left to the black letter A. Until now we have only used a single view window. Whenever you need multiple perspectives at once, click on the small triangle at the window icon to change the count of view windows. To change the projection for the active view window, click on the icon showing an eye. To zoom inside an orthogonal projection view window, use the mouse wheel. All the editor settings you do in the third toolbar are changed only for the active view window. Therefore, each view window has its own view configuration. Additionally, you can show or hide the grid and origin in the scene. To change the wireframe mode, click on the quad icon consisting of 8 triangles left to the window icon, or press the F3 function key. And that's about it. I hope this video has sparked your interest and will see us in the next tutorial.